Hey everybody, I'm back. So, just cleared out the Grey Garrison. And it's time to move on.
Make way, warrior queen coming through with a round for the heroes. Whoa, the heart is packed. And you considered nixing this little shindig, Beth?
I did consider it, and I am still considering it. It hasn't even been a week since the last demon was booted out of Canabras. And we really should be in a period of mourning for all the city's fallen. But the people deserve to celebrate. And he deserves to be honored for saving the city and possibly all of Mendev.
That was one hell of a fight.
One hell of a fight calls for one hell of a party.
According to the Watch reports, there has been no demon activity whatsoever outside Canabras. I get the feeling the fiends are as shocked by what happened as we are. What happened in the garrison, what you did, it was a miracle. I truly believe that the gods remembered us and decided to intervene.
Beth, come on, you agreed. No serious business today.
All right, I'm done. No more. Who would have thought we'd be celebrating a successful attack on the Grey Garrison, our own fortress, and that we'd blow the roof off the place?
It's simply unforgivable.
While we're on the topic of the roof, there's already a rumor going around that you have been blessed by Iomade herself. And it was her power granted to you that destroyed the garrison's walls and roof. And it turns out the people want a little piece of that blessing for themselves. The townsfolk are gathering chunks of the garrison's rubble as souvenirs and talismans. And I'm sure they'll hit the black market soon enough. Oh, yeah. Here, read on this for me. For good luck.
We need all the luck we can get.
Nice. I'll put it on display at home. Or maybe I'll make a hole in it and wear it as a pendant.
Nevi! What are you on about now?
What do you mean? Do you see many people at this table who've been personally blessed by Iomade herself?
Well, a couple perhaps.
Iomade's blessings are not conveyed through stones, and as public officials, we really shouldn't.
I feel a little chastened after what you said about public officials. But I myself have acquired a few pieces of stone and also wish to ask our hero to breathe on them for good luck. So, what now? Are you going to toss me out of this fine establishment?
Your Majesty.
Yes, it is I. I made the journey here to deduct the cost of repairing the garrison roof from your salary. We have not been introduced. Galfrey of Mendev.
I didn't expect to see the Queen at our table.
I was most keen to see the savior of Canabras with my own eyes. Why not come share your table in a cozy tavern?
Your Majesty, we were just... I'll have them arrange.
Calm yourself, Commander. I deliberately came here without any fanfare because I did not wish to draw attention away from our honored hero here. My personal guard and the force I brought with me are standing watch outside the city. I ordered all your sentries to stand down. They also deserve a break. Every person who tirelessly fought to save Canabras will enjoy themselves today. And my reinforcements will ensure peace and order.
Will you join our celebration, Your Majesty?
Please, don't Your Majesty me. We are in a tavern, not my court in Nerosian. Address me as you would any comrade in arms. Concerning the celebration, as you can see, I already invited myself. I couldn't pass up the chance to meet the new hero all the Crusaders are talking about. And soon, not just Crusaders.
We all need to get some rest.
Because grand new deeds lie ahead, yes?
Your Majesty, my dear cousin.
Count, I admit I was surprised to learn that you valiantly joined the ranks of the city's defenders. Pleasantly surprised.
I live to please you, my queen. My first thought when Daskari cruelly robbed us of noble Tarendalev and half of Canabris's crusaders in one fell swoop was of you, my queen, and of how these events would weigh heavily on you. No one could have foreseen the demon attack, and we have so successfully held the defense here for 4 heroic crusades.
I'm going to drown him in the nearest well this very night.
I value your dedication and your eloquence. I hope you will continue to aid our soldiers.
Not a chance. You know that I am not made for the front lines. Excellent bash, but alas, I really must go. Important matters to be getting on with. A new shipment of wine from Kionin and 3 beautiful creatures of the same provenance. But I will most assuredly come to say my farewells before your army departs on its campaign, which, wherever it may lead you, will undoubtedly be crowned with victory.
I shall hold you to that, Count. And now allow me to devote some time to the hero of the evening. I did not come here solely to give you this chance to celebrate, but all serious discussions and official announcements can wait until tomorrow. I have big, big plans for all of you, especially for you. But I want to keep you in suspense for a little while longer, so I shan't say another word. Let us mark this victory. My first toast is to you, the hero of Canabris. Now, what are we drinking?
The fires of Canabris have died down. Now the army's path leads to the walls of Dresden, a fallen citadel that the Crusaders have been trying in vain to reclaim for 70 years. The new piece on the board might give their efforts some added momentum.
Rise, warriors. Today is a day of sorrow and pride. Sorrow because we weep for our brothers and sisters who perished in Canabris. Pride because despite demonic treachery, our heroes repelled the attack and saved the city. I, Queen Golfrey of Mendev, declare this day the first day of the 5th Crusade, and I am glad to introduce the one who will lead the attack on the forces of the Abyss, the hero of Canabris, Knight Commander of the 5th Crusade, your leader from now unto victory or death. And now it's time to rest. Everyone is dismissed. There, the troop review is finished. I'll give you some time to look around the camp, and then I shall expect your presence at headquarters.
Oh, there's the storyteller. Allow me to congratulate you on your victory and on acquiring mythical powers capable of casting down the strongest of demons. I got the page you were looking for from the Grey Garrison. I see myself, young, energetic, able to see. Oh gods, have I found the key to my past? Finally, I will find out what my own mind has been hiding from me. Thank you, Reynard, and please follow me to my story. Let us embark on this journey together. They are leaving. The people of Kionin faced the coming Earthfall and admitted that they were incapable of handling this disaster. Proud rulers, artful crafters, brave warriors, wise mages, and skilled healers All of them hurry to the gate of Severian, looking around fearfully. A clean, safe world is waiting for them there. My people decided not to fight for Galarian. I am ashamed, and I am sorry for them. Their hearts wavered in the face of the catastrophe. But my will is strong. I am staying. My kinfolk are looking at me angrily. How dare I diminish their decision with my recklessness? My choice makes them cowards, traitors of their own home. One of them, my former mentor, looks at me bitterly. He hands me a neat notebook with a tree bark cover. In case you change your mind. With a heavy sigh, he returns to the line of those departing. Forgive me, brothers and sisters. I watch the gate of the Severian stone close, separating me from them. It's time for me to go too. I open my master's notebook. These are his notes about traveling between worlds. In case you change your mind. He hopes the burden I shouldered voluntarily will be too much. I will lose heart and find my way to Severian. That will never happen. My mouth set stubbornly, I tear my master's notebook to pieces. I use my forced pride as a shield against my fear of what is to come. Why did the elves decide to flee, not fight? They are afraid to lose what they have. They were rulers, long-lived and powerful. They valued their lives and sunshine too much to enter the fight with the aftermath of Earthfall. Your mentor is a mage? Then you must be too, yes? Yes, I am an archmage, and this title is well deserved. I have acquired delicate mastery and succeeded in many areas of magic, but curiosity has always pushed me towards new knowledge since the first day of my apprenticeship. What is the Severian stone? A magnificent crystal bent into an arch by a mighty hand of an ancient divine creator. Our great gate to other worlds. It breathes power, it dreams of eternity. Why are you angry at your fellow elves? I spent many hundreds of years in Kyonin. I have always admired the way my kinfolk cared for the forest that was our home, but the rest of the world seemed to mean nothing to them. But I love Galarian, all its places, all the forms it manifests in. I traveled widely and then came home and told my kinfolk about my travels, but they weren't interested. They only cared about Kyonin. Their lack of desire to hear about the wider world makes me sad and angry. What happened next? Earthfall happened at night. I am standing at the top of my tower. Many miles to the north of Kyonin, I see a blaze far in the south. I hear a horrendous rumble. The air is groaning, giving way to a huge rock rushing down on my world. And then, blow. Vibration that penetrates everything, reaching down into the bowels of Galarian and up to the vaults of the sky. Crunching bones, blood from burst vessels filling my eyes with darkness, drowning in timelessness along with countless denizens of Galarian. Never before have we been so united in our feelings. When I came round, the darkness remains. My first terrible thought, I'm blind. But no, little by little I begin to see the stone wall. I am alive, but why is it so dark? The answer is quick, the smell of ash everywhere. The great burnt sacrifice filled the air and with incinerated particles of what was recently the continent of Aslant. Great clouds of ash covered the sky, cutting us off from the sun and the moon, dooming us to dusk at day and complete darkness at night. My heart sinks with fear. Treacherous thoughts fill my mind. Why did I stay? Why didn't I run like everyone else when I had the chance? I clench my teeth and stand up to watch Earthfall. Rapidly, like the last Archmage of Kyonin should. Will my world really perish like this? Will I perish? No, that will never happen. I am still alive and I can fight Earthfall and the darkness. Not run from it in a blind panic like my kinfolk and my cowardly teacher. But what can I do? I will not stop the disaster. I will hardly be able to save empires from their destruction. But what can I do? I am but one archmage, powerful and weak at the same time. What is Earthfall? A disaster of untold proportions. An unborn planet dropped on Galarian by blind fate or someone's evil will. A blow so strong that the continent of Aslant is destroyed within moments, turned to ashes, wiped off the face of Galarian. In this burnt sacrifice, clouds of ash and dust are born, stealing our sun. Without the warmth of our star, the air cools, the soil is barren, dark creatures crawl out of their lairs to rule. And the most frightening thing, without the sun, all hope dies in the heart. This is the age of darkness. What was that tower you mentioned? It's my retreat to the north of Kyonin, my home away from home, my observatory. From its top I watched the stars, and, when they were correctly aligned, the other worlds as well. Here in the northern wastelands I found the highest mountain and built a tower on top of it. On clear days I could see the mist over the lake of mists and veils in the east. That's how high I was. What are you going to do next? I don't know. I need to think. My opponent, Earthfall, is much stronger than me. It is merciless. It does not simply destroy life, it kills an era, ending the greatness of Galarian civilizations. They will sink into oblivion, be forgotten as if they never existed. I need to think. Forgive me, I shouldn't have raised my voice. This story was much harder than many before it, most likely because I played the main role in it. It is so strange to see myself, feel the emotions tearing me up inside, those that I felt a long time ago, and not remember them. It's like I split. I became both the storyteller and the main character. Too bad the story ended at that moment. Please, if you find other pages covered with ancient elven writings on your travels, bring them to me. I might be able to shed some light on my past, and we will find out how my story ended, and perhaps even why I forgot it. Thank you for your stories. Thank you for helping me remember them. Have you decided to join the Crusade? I have decided not to, I'm afraid. My path and the path of the Crusade lead in the same direction, but alas, they are not yet one and the same. After the demons were driven away from Canabras, the path into the Worldwound became open, if only temporarily. I'm planning on using this opportunity to visit. It doesn't matter now. I'd hate to bore you with the details of my venture, which may prove useless even for myself. However, I'll try to return to the Crusaders and aid them in their next confrontation with the demons after I'm done. I hope to meet you again, in this world rather than the next. Anyhow. There's Darren. Ah, there you are, you dashing troublemaker, you. Our short acquaintance is coming to an end. Very soon you will depart on your crusade, where you'll scrape by on horrible rations, struggle vainly to fall asleep amidst snoring soldiers, be rudely awoken by the freezing cold, and have to look upon the dour faces of self-righteous prigs before you finally perish in the maw of some demon. I have a journey ahead of me too. I've just rented a sailboat in the south. I've also hired an excellent chef, and a host of other entertainments. Well, to each their own, I suppose. You know, I am genuinely sad to see you go. If it sounds like mockery, forgive me. I cannot switch off my venom gland on a whim, you see. But you intrigue me. If only we could have spent a little more time together. But of course, not under these conditions. Let the Crusaders and the demons have at each other. With any luck, they'll take this entire sanctimonious spectacle down with them. I'll be blunt, you don't intrigue me. Not in the way you obviously had in mind, but you are a valuable companion. You could have stayed in my party. Who, me? Where? In this traveling circuit? Pardon me, in this army? You must be joking. Of course I won't stay. Who in his right mind would trade a luxurious and carefree life for this crusade? In any case, I intend to wait until the army departs. I do love a good send-off, especially when it is I who is staying and someone else who is heading off to meet a dreary and hopeless end. Sometimes it does one good to ruminate on the unfairness of life. Well then, farewell, Commander. I assume I shall be your most precious memory on this most disgusting and exhausting road to the pointless slaughter of battle. Or, if not the most precious memory, then at least the most stirring. Nora. Wilshire Arms, the camp quartermaster at your service. How may I be of help? Show me what you got. Yeah, I got a lot of shit to sell. What's he got? Yeah, Finian is still better than any weapon I could buy from here. These are gloves of dueling. These gloves grant their wearer a +1 bonus to CMD against disarm attempts. If the wearer has the weapon training ability and is wielding a weapon it gives a bonus to, that bonus increases by 1. Don't think I'm gonna see a lot of disarm attempts. Maybe I will, I don't know. Yeah. Nothing particularly interesting there. Good day. Do you remember me? I'm Jernog. We spoke in the Defender's Heart. So you're the commander of the Crusade now. Erastil knows it's hard to imagine someone worthier of taking up the post than the savior of Canabras. May the good gods help you prevail. Have you joined the Crusade? Don't take it amiss, but no, I haven't. I have my own tasks. I am needed in Chili Creek, a tiny hamlet which, due to some oversight, has been left without a priest these many years. I'm about to set sail for there. I'll be making my journey along Old Man Sellen. Oh yeah. Oh! I did gain a level from that. I might be able to... No, I still can't take duelist. Oh, I think I know. I only get... I'll only be able to get plus 6 BAB by taking this next level in Fighter. Well, next level then. Okay, Perception... Athletics... Knowledge World. Yeah, I'm gonna take Piranha Strike at this level. Let's see, he gets Knowledge Arcana, Knowledge World, Persuasion, and Prayer. You bring special favor upon yourself and your allies, while bringing disfavor to your enemies. You and each of your allies gain a +1 luck bonus on attack rolls, weapon damage rolls, saves, and skill checks, while each of your foes takes a -1 penalty on such rolls. And for a mythic ability, he gets Boundless Healing. Whenever you cast a Cure Wounds spell or another healing spell, it becomes Reach, as though using the Reach spell feat. Also, the amount of hit points it now restores depends entirely on your caster level and disregards any limits in the original spell. Reach spell, you can alter a spell with a range of touch, close, or medium to increase its range by 1 range category, using the following order: touch, close, medium, and long. She gets Trickery and Stealth. Not a very exciting level. And Abundant Casting. She gets Knowledge Arcana, Knowledge World, Lore Nature, and Use Magic Device, Fireball, and Heroism. She gets another Hex, Knowledge Arcana, Persuasion, Use Magic Device, Protective Luck. The witch can cause fate to twist so that it benefits a creature within 30 feet for 1 round. Whenever that creature is targeted by an effect that requires an attack roll, including weapon attacks, the attacker must roll twice and take the worst result. At 8th level and 16th level, the duration of this hex is extended by 1 round. A witch cannot use this ability on herself. Hexes that affect the Fortune hex, such as Cackle, also affect Protective Luck. So 1 friendly target within medium range. And she also gets Heroism. Wolgiff gets Danger Sense. These bonuses increase by 1 every 3 rogue levels thereafter. So another +1 to reflex saves to avoid traps, and another +1 dodge bonus to AC against attacks made by traps. Mobility, Trickery, Stealth, Perception, Use Magic Device. He gets Burning Arc and Cat's Grace. And gets another Key Power and a Zen Archer bonus feat. Athletics, Mobility, Perception, Bark Skin. And Many Shot. When making a full attack with a bow, your first attack fires 2 arrows. If the attack hits, both arrows hit. Apply precision-based damage such as sneak attack and critical hit damage only once for this attack. Damage bonuses from using a composite bow with a high strength bonus apply to each arrow, as do other damage bonuses such as a ranger's favorite enemy bonus. Damage reduction and resistances apply separately to each arrow. And she gets Mobility, Knowledge World, Persuasion. Whenever the Paladin uses Lay on Hands to heal damage to one target, the Paladin's Lay on Hands ability also acts as Remove Disease, using the Paladin's level as the caster level. And before I forget, let's refill those spell slots. Now that everybody's got like 4 more. Bless. Burning Hands. Bane, and then 2 more Cure Light Wounds. Do 2 more cure moderate wounds. One of bark skin. 1 hold person. And 1 lesser restoration. Alright, and level 3 spells. So immediately upon completion of the spell and once per round thereafter, you may call down a 6-foot wide, 30-foot long vertical bolt of lightning that deals 3d6 points of electricity damage. The bolt of lightning flashes down in a vertical stroke at whatever target point you choose within the spell's range, measured from your position at the time. Any creature in the target square or in the path of the bolt is affected. You need not call a bolt of lightning immediately. Other actions, even spellcasting, can be performed first. Each round after the first, you may use a standard action, concentrating on the spell, to call a bolt. Each time you cast a bolt, the spell's duration is reduced by 1 minute. Yeah, let's do one of those. 3 cure serious wounds. Remove curse. Huh. Sure. And then... yeah, let's do bestow curse. Let's do another magic missile. Snowball. Expeditious retreat. And let's do another magic missile. And level 2. Yeah, get some fireballs in here. Then another haste and heroism. Let's give him another burning hands. Snowball. Yeah, let's do another burning hands. Burning arc. Cat's grace. Scorching ray. Hideous laughter. And another burning arc. Yep. That's it. Oh yeah, them. Good afternoon, Your Commanderness. Do you remember us? We're the crew from the next door theater company, the one you saved in Canabras back when you weren't Your Commanderness yet. As you can see, we've come on the campaign with you. We signed up to clean pots and mend the soldiers' clothes. Keeping up a theater is expensive, so we all have to take side jobs. But we don't stop what we're doing. We're going to put on a play about your legendary feats. Of course, the crowd scenes are difficult. We can't find the people to play the hordes of demons. And we decided against using a ritual to summon real demons. Luckily, we have Master Kem. He's invented a way to solve this problem using sound. We caught a pig and some piglets who ran away from a burned-out village. We put the piglets in a box and scare them a little, and the sound they make is just like an approaching demon horde. But the most important question is, of course, choosing the lead actor who will play the Great Knight Commander. We had to write Barney over it, breaking a number of lances, as well as a shovel, a rolling pin, and a set of back scratchers. But we just couldn't decide no matter what. Maybe you can help us. We have two candidates that are most suited to the role. One will have the honor of conveying your heroism upon the stage, Commander. I'm to be played by a gnome? Not a gnome, two gnomes. Rubbledum and Hierophant are twins. One of them sits on the other's shoulders and puts on a long coat so they can play tall characters. They switch places every so often, so each gets their moment of fame. And that way, they each only have to learn half the script. A Cyclops actor? He's completely tame, believe me. Has a few issues with articulation, but what a powerful physique. We'll make him a nice costume, wash him up, brush his hair. Truth be told, in our show you mainly just make short heroic exclamations at the fateful moment, like "Onward," or "We'll never give up," or "My heart burns with courage." Lambkin can definitely handle the script. Don't you have any other actors who even vaguely resemble me? We're a small and poorly funded theater, and we only have a few actors. But they're all so talented, one of a kind. I've chosen the ones that are the best fit for your role. Trust my vision. I have more than a few successful plays under my belt. Yeah, I'd imagine it would be hard for them to get someone to play, you know, me. Yeah, I guess the Gnome Twins. Wonderful. Sorry we took you away from all the important things heroes and commanders do. We're off to rehearsal. I mean, first we'll wash some pots and then we're off to rehearsal. Let's go, you lazy lumps. Don't embarrass old grandma now. Oh yeah, this one. Someone sure has some opinions. So picture this. My sword is by the fire, there's 2 goblins about to snatch it, and 3 more are digging through my tent, and I'm sat in the bushes wearing just my mail shirt wondering what the blast to do. An old mercenary taught me about the mail shirt. You can't sleep in armor, but it's not so bad in mail, once you get used to it. Too bad no one told me not to go into the bushes without my sword. So what did you do? What did I do? I barked like crazy. Goblins are afraid of dogs, you know. So they all went wild and started running around. I spot my sword, and they spot me. So I jump over to the fire, wearing nothing but my mail shirt, and I grab my sword, and I yell in my big tough voice, "O Inheritor, grant me the power to crush these filthy creatures." My sword's shining, the goblins are screaming, I jump to attack them and they fight back. But I fought them off somehow. But ever since then I never take a step without my weapon. Haha, that's some story. Hey, stop! Stop gulping! Leave some for us! We've only just set off and you're already drinking? And with the Queen in the camp? Stop this at once! Right you are, Commander Tirabade, but we are but drinking to the Queen's health. Give me a sip too, to Her Majesty's health. Commander, are you sure this is the right way to train your soldiers? Never mind, it's your business.
Beautiful!
Pretty sure she's evil. Well met, Commander. You've caused quite the stir. Everyone thought Canabres was done for, but the gods had other plans. It's quite a blaze over the Grey Garrison, all the vermin running out with their tails between their legs. This ring grants its wearer +5 competence bonus on all perception and trickery skill checks. I mean, I can afford it, but barely. Cloak of Resistance +3. Cape of Pest Control? Grants wear DR5 against all swarms attacks. If the wearer of this ring has the ability to cast spells spontaneously, it grants them the ability to cast the following spells: Fireball, Controlled Fireball, Fire Snake, Hellfire Ray, Firestorm, and Fiery Body. To cast a spell, the wearer still needs to have a spell slot of the required level. I guess I'll go ahead and get Scroll Scriber's Kit 3. I don't think anybody in our party can brew potions. Okay, I think I've seen everything there is to see out here.
Commander, I'm satisfied with the troop review, but I do not expect they will be sufficient for the task. You will have to prove yourself a shrewd leader and hire the necessary troops with the provided funds. I have chosen a target for your campaign, and that target is Dresden, our lost outpost within the World Wound. The Sword of Valor was kept there, a banner that was once carried by Iomade herself. Our greatest relic was lost when the city fell. I should make one thing clear from the start. The Sword of Valor is no mere symbol, but a powerful weapon against demons. The holiness of the banner weakens them and robs them of one of their most dangerous abilities, teleportation. A forced march to Dresden awaits you. The Sword of Valor is kept somewhere within the Citadel. The demons probably think it's a hunting trophy. Its recovery is just as important as retaking the city itself. I hope the task is clear. I'm sending 2 specialists to help you, along with the soldiers. A historian, Nura Denduar, and a cleric, Soziel Vainik. One of the famous inquisitors of the Church of Iomade also wants to talk to you. The Honorable Leota, whom everyone calls Hawkblade.
Oh yeah, that's the guy who's supposed to keep the prelate in check.
I do not wish to keep you, Commander. The matter I must discuss with you is extremely important, but it is not directly related to the Crusade. You no doubt wish to meet your new comrades and speak with Her Majesty. Therefore, I shall leave you now, but I ask that you seek me out in the camp at your earliest convenience.
Hi! Listen, it's amazing here. It's like I'm in a ballad. There's knights in shining armor, deadly dangers, glorious feats. We are going to show those demons! I'm so tired of sitting in a library reading books about history. It's time I took part in it!
I'm glad to help our cause, Commander. If you have some time later, I'd like to speak with you further.
You'll have plenty of time to talk. You're the Knight Commander's people now, his trusted advisors and companions. Now then, would you please leave us? Irabeth, you can go too.
When we met at the Defender's Heart, I never imagined you'd make me the commander of the new crusade.
Some actions may be deemed bold, or even extreme, and beyond those, there are some you might call the Queen's last resort. I am not a simple monarch. I am at war with the Abyss, a war which has lasted over 100 years. I cannot allow myself the luxury of caution. In you, I see a chance, and I am willing to stake everything on it. However, you cannot blame me for putting you in charge of the Crusade. I only formalized what had already happened in the hearts and minds of many. People spoke of the power that descended upon you and helped you save the Wardstones from corruption and total destruction. Word of this feat quickly spread far beyond the borders of Mendev. There was no other person who could better fit the role of Knight Commander of the Fifth Crusade.
I have some questions about my mission to retake Dresden.
Of course. I shall answer.
How did the demons manage to conquer Dresden?
That's a good question. Its walls were built by dwarf craftsmen, and the power of the Sword of Valor protected the city. Alas, where raging hordes failed, a single lying tongue was all they needed to succeed. The demoness Minago convinced a young and ambitious crusader named Staunton Vane that the banner belonged on the battlefield. He went on a daring and unapproved raid, and the banner ended up in the enemy's hands. The city fell soon after. Ever since then, for 7 decades, it has served as a citadel for the forces of the Abyss.
Staunton Vane. I saw him at the Grey Garrison. He defected to the demon's side.
Oh, really? I wasn't informed of this. After Dresden fell because of Staunton, he was nearly sentenced to death. He deserved it. In wartime, men are hanged for far less. But you have no idea what a terrible sight it is. A raging crowd of crusaders baying for blood. Never have my fighters looked so much like the demons we are fighting. I commuted Staunton's sentence and stripped him of his rank. Not just for him, but for my army and my country. We are not Hell Knights. We do not maintain discipline with public executions.
All of these are good responses. Except that one. That's the asshole response. I mean, even that one. Like, it's not good, of course, but it is a good point. Like, how can no one tried to kill Staunton yet? I guess I'll go with this.
Thank you for your support. The longer you live, the more things you do, and the more criticism you endure. Today, many blame me for all manner of reasons, and few try to understand my actions. Your words warm my soul.
What forces are at my disposal?
Everyone we saw today at the parade. First among them, the Eagle Watch, who remain a powerful force thanks to Irabeth's resourcefulness. Also marching with you are several minor knightly orders, as the minor volunteer units like to be called. And finally, I have personally selected some recruits from Neurosian. They have little in the way of battle experience, but great determination and a thirst to prove themselves. I've always thought that an army benefits from at least one such unit. These forces, as I said, are not enough for a march on Dresden. You will have to hire additional troops with the funds that have been provided to you. But for a brave commander, and I hope you are one, that is just the beginning. If you retake Dresden, recover the holy power of the Sword of Valor, and gain a foothold in the region, then new armies will join under your banner. The Fifth Crusade is only beginning. Many battles and victories lie ahead.
It's been decades and no one has managed to retake the city. Why do you think we're different?
We have a chance now that we haven't seen in decades. But it's more than that. You created this chance for us by foiling the demon's plans in Canabris. The army who attacked the city came straight from Dresden. Demon hordes from the Abyss are usually encamped there, but many of them perished on the streets of Canabris. We must attack swiftly before they can restore their forces. When the city is free and the Sword of Valor appears before our soldiers, they won't be sending in any more reinforcements. Demons cannot teleport into an area protected by the banner of the goddess.
What about long-term goals? Do you know how to get rid of the World Wound forever?
Now you are talking like a real knight. The World Wound is more than just a chain of portals to the Abyss. We do not understand its nature yet. The methods of rift closure known to magical science simply do not work here. However, we have a hypothesis, and a rather well-grounded one, that we must begin at the source of the problem, the place where the World Wound was opened. The main rift lies through the city of Iz and the Threshold Fortress, deep in the former lands of Socorus. We have never managed to fight our way so far and gain a foothold to allow the mages to explore the origins of the World Wound. So, the next step, after you succeed in Dresden, is an offensive push deeper into the World Wound, with the aim of reaching Threshold. The very threshold of the Abyss.
I'm sorry, did you say mages?
Wonderful.
Did you know that the souls of angels from heaven are confined in the Wardstone?
I had guessed as much. Many angels fought alongside us in the First Crusade. Heaven was unable to mobilize its full might to aid us, but individual Celestials volunteered to fight for our cause. Then one day, they all vanished, saying that they were setting off on an important mission. Not long after, Iomede's herald erected the first wardstone in Canobris, and then the others in cities across Mendev. Even back then, I had nagging doubts, but my faith in Iomede easily assuaged them. It is for us to serve the goddess after all, not to question her works. In any case, I am glad you did not allow the demons to commit sacrilege and gain control over the wardstone in Canobris. We might have lost one of the wardstones, but the chain is still standing.
You should know I received an unusual gift in the caves beneath Canabras. In a vision I saw the death of an angel called Lariel. Somehow he is able to grant me the ability to reveal the light of heaven.
Lariel. I knew him. He disappeared shortly before the World Wound grew, and Dresden fell into the enemy's hands. In the chaos, we had more important concerns than investigating the fate of a single angel. Even one so righteous and beloved as Lariel. And afterward, matters took a turn for the worse. The angels left us to go on their special mission. It is so strange to hear the names I used to hear when I was young, like getting a message from the past. It is sad news, but it brings me back to the times when we strongly believed in our victory, and we rushed headlong toward it without fear. Could it be that such times have come again?
And what are you going to do?
Overlooking a spot of insubordination just at the moment. However, I shall answer you. I shall prepare the defenses at Nerosian and all the other border cities and plan the future of the Fifth Crusade. Does that satisfy your curiosity, Knight Commander?
My queen, I'd ask you to remain with us. The Dresden campaign is the hope of the Crusade, and the blessing of Iomede that you carry may be decisive in this battle.
I hear a polite attempt to appeal to the conscience of an old sovereign? I don't know if you realize what you're suggesting. If our enemies in the depths of the wound were to discover that I was with your army, they would immediately send their most vicious demons to attack. They would stop at nothing to be rid of me, and thereby sow chaos across Mendev. But you are right. I shouldn't be sitting it out in the rear. I am a warrior queen, and a queen of warriors. Yet my fighters have forgotten what I look like. Fine. I shall join the crusade, but on my own terms. First, I shall assemble my entourage and lead the parade out of the camp. I shall catch up with you later, along with a few hand-picked bodyguards. We'll change our armor, and I'll become a knight of a minor order and join the troops incognito. Until we approach Dresden, no one should know I am among you. But before we storm the city, I shall show myself to the troops and join the battle. Let it be a surprise for the demons. I hope you won't complain of my company on the road, Commander, since you were the one who insisted upon it. Do you have any other questions?
Task is clear.
Splendid. Ah, yes. We have one final matter to attend to. It should be rather enjoyable. Count, there you are. You received my instruction?
I did, though I did not have time to read the thing before I was dragged before your majesty. In truth, I was readying myself to depart.
No matter. I trust you will forgive your sovereign for the rather brusque summons, especially when you learn what prompted it. As you are aware, he has recently been appointed my Knight Commander of the Fifth Crusade. I spent a long while pondering whom to appoint to the highly sensitive post of Commander's Field Attaché and Advisor Plenipotentiary without portfolio. Congratulations, Count.
It is a great honor, I suppose.
What a wonderful gesture, Your Majesty. I imagine our dear Count would have been inconsolable if you hadn't given him this chance to serve the common cause.
I knew you would approve, Commander. I had my doubts about whether you were ready for such a responsibility, Count. But your conduct in Kenobris has put my mind at ease. So, you will travel with the troops to Dresden. Only the Commander may remove you from your post. But I trust that you will dutifully fulfill his orders and make a good showing of yourself.
Well, it's nice to know she has a sense of humor.
Especially since word of your appointment, Count, will reach the court at any moment. All of Mendev's nobility will be following your successes in service to the nation, including all of your devoted admirers. I even heard that one bard with whom you are particularly friendly has already begun composing a ballad to honor your heroic participation in the Crusade and your faithful service to the commander here.
Your largesse truly knows no bounds, dear cousin. I am most gratified by the honor you have shown me.
Then let's get going. May Ayomide help us.
So, tell me straight, how'd that brawl at the Great Garrison end? I heard the rumors, of course. That's kinda my job, you know, to listen. You've no idea what cobblers the Crusaders say about you. Some say that Iomade came to you and appointed you her herald. Others say that you died, and an honest-to-God's angel is now leading the army disguised as you. Still others say it was just an explosion at an alchemist's lab, and I'm the one spreading rumors about your powers. I wish. But you know, you really have changed since the Grey Garrison. It's hard to describe, but you've become kinda... more dangerous? Yeah, exactly. More dangerous. I have a gut instinct about these things. If I didn't, I'd already be dead. You're dangerous, Commander. And by Desna, I hope you'll be dangerous to our enemies and not to us. Or to yourself. Oops. Whatever. Oh, right. I was gonna look through my... Oh, he's in my party now. That's right. I think I have a glaive. I have two glaives in here, actually. Let's see. Dark Horn, a glaive popular among Baphomet's warriors, touching the handles enough to sense the latent evil within this weapon. Marching Terror, whenever this +1 glaive lands a hit on a new enemy for the first time, the target receives 1d6 negative damage, and all other enemies in a 15-foot radius must pass a will saving throw or become frightened for 1 round. Yeah, I think I'll go with this one. This one's made of cold iron. And what kind of armor? Medium armor focus. And that's heavy. Do I have... Yeah, let's give him that. Yeah, that'd be good for him to have. That's a higher armor class. Has a much bigger armor check penalty. Removes the dexterity bonus completely. Does give her +2 constitution though. Yeah, I guess I'll give her that. Ranged attack rolls, armor class, reflex saving rolls. Wait a minute. Huh. That doesn't affect her reflex saving rolls. Yeah, I guess I'll just give that to her. I saw you talking to the girl hiding her face. Who was she and what did she want? I don't know, Commander. She never introduced herself, but I bet she's not part of our army. I know all our soldiers by name and by sight. She was looking for some elf volunteer, wanted to know which tent he was sleeping in. At first I thought she was a messenger from Mendev. She definitely wasn't one of us. But now I see how it all looks mighty shifty. She was some sort of spy then. Okay, so first show me what you have. I'm just gonna go ahead and sell all these things. Nobody in my party's gonna be using them. I don't know, do those get equipped on a mount or something? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, now we got money. Tell me about yourself. There isn't much to tell, really. I was born in Canabras in a humble family. I got an education, taught myself to read and write, got drafted into the army, spent 3 years as a shield bearer in the front line. I left after I did my time and joined the Stonemasons Guild, then moved on to the shipwrights and rose to a crew chief. Sailed to Ibarra twice and returned with goods, made some money, built a house, but haven't started a family yet. Think I will after we're done with this war. But a few years ago, something started gnawing at me. I got this feeling like I needed to go home, and that there was a storm headed for my native city. And when there's trouble in Mendev, there's only one thing to do. You go to the recruiter and sign up for the army. And so I did. At first they wanted to make me an infantry sergeant, but then they decided I'd be a better fit in the supply department. I can take care of army property, and I'm pretty handy around a warehouse. Not to mention I know how to manage a band of helpers. And so that's how I became a quartermaster. You are the most well-adjusted person in this entire army. What are your duties in the camp? A little bit of everything. What's an officer to a soldier? A strict father. So what does this make a quartermaster like myself? Something like their mom, that's what. I make sure the lads have everything they need to defeat the enemy and come back from battle in one piece. That means food, firewood, medicine, tents, mended clothes, fixed weapons. The horses have got to be fed and watered, the camp's got to be fortified by the evening and broken up by the morning. I make sure the wages are paid on time and the wagon wheels don't squeak. And then there are reports. Gods, until you asked, I never realized how many duties I actually had. What do the soldiers think of their new commander? They mostly tell tales about your unusual power, but they don't shy away from talking about you as a person. Soldiers are like that. If Iomade herself descended from heaven, you bet they'd jabber on about how she grips her sword and how good she looks in her armor. The general impression about you is that you're a tough fighter, a true warrior. That's the best kind of commander, one who knows the weight of a blade in a long fight. Oh, this guy sells cold iron weapons. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and buy this.
Let's see what we can do.
So, how do you like your new role, advisor? You also enjoy poking me with that stick, don't you? Imagine it, me, a crusader. If my dearest cousin hoped to teach me a lesson, she managed it perfectly. An assignment I couldn't avoid without losing face, this idiotic journey leading straight into the demon's maws. I could have been on a pleasure boat right now with the loveliest songstress in Pitax on my arm, and a bottle of the finest Kyonin wine to keep us company. Did you also receive a fraction of that unusual power? Looks like it. I genuinely hoped that getting away from you would be the end of it. If your gift truly did come from Iomade, then giving me a smidgen of that power was a very subtle joke on her part. I had no idea that our divine Lightbringer of Mendev even had a sense of humor. Don't get me started on my many acts of sacrilege against her. That obscene engraving, the truth about the test of the Starstone, is the tamest one by far. Now there's this guy.
Hello again. I'm very pleased to meet you. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me. It's a pity I wasn't there at the Grey Garrison to witness your feats of strength with my own eyes. The flash, however, could be seen miles and miles away. Some people were frightened of it, thinking that the demons had blown up the remains of the keep. I, for one, knew immediately that it was a good sign. The light above the city showed us that there was still hope.
Who are you, and how can you possibly be of use to my army?
My name is Sozio Vanek. I am a cleric of Shaylin, the Eternal Rose and the Goddess of Beauty. Yes, I know that many people would consider me useless in a war. This is not a usual war, though. Just consider our enemy. The Abyss and his demons are the very embodiment of everything evil and ugly in the world. Perhaps a disciple of kindness and beauty might come in handy. I have no doubt that we will win this war, Commander. We just have to. It is our destiny. My role is to help you, and all those standing by your side in this struggle, to survive and flourish. Everyone deserves the chance to find peace and happiness in the world that they are defending so selflessly.
What are you painting?
My brothers and sisters in faith. They sent me for help, and then they saved my life, Commander. If the Prioress hadn't ordered me to escape the city and seek help, I would have died right along with them. Instead, I met Queen Galfrey on her way to Nerosian, and hurriedly returned to Canabras, only to find my friends dead on the steps of our desecrated temple. I want to draw them the way they live on in my memory. Wise, beautiful, and loyal to their goddess and their city to the very end.
This is why you have to treasure every moment you spend with the ones you love. Today you're together, but who knows what tomorrow may bring.
You're right. I took their company for granted and never even imagined that they might just disappear in the blink of an eye. So many words left unspoken. Now it's my duty to make sure my friends and tutors did not die in vain. I will honor their sacrifice by making this world a bit more beautiful and kind.
What made an artist enlist in the army?
Perhaps I am a true artist, or simply an amateur who defaces canvases in my spare time. My goddess is a patron of art, so painting is part of my prayer, and I put all my heart into my pieces. But I am a cleric above all else, so I must also tend to others. I went to war because here's where I'm most needed. Sure, I could be painting idyllic landscapes and offering empty prayers to my goddess, but that won't stop people from dying. My goddess has no tolerance for false piety.
You wanted to discuss something with me, right?
Yes, I have a personal request. Before we undertake our journey and leave Canabris behind, I would like to visit Martyr Zacharias' cemetery for a funeral. It's not far from here, and it's important. I would like to pay my respects to my friends from the Temple of Shaylin who died defending the city. Also, if it's not too much trouble, I would like you to come with me to honor their memory. Their friends and family will be at the funeral, and perhaps the commander's personal presence will bring them comfort. I know that you are burdened by many cares right now, so I understand if you can't find the time. But if you could, I would be sincerely grateful.
It was nice meeting you. Now I have to go.
You must be rather busy indeed. Leading a crusade all by yourself is no joke. I still believe that you are up to the task. This war has been raging for 100 years, but you've given us a chance at victory.
Right, I was gonna talk to her. Knight Commander, how can I help? There is much I can do, just ask. You've probably heard about the wound I have, the one that's sometimes open on my chest. Can you perhaps tell me if it is some kind of demonic curse? Yes, indeed, I've been told of your affliction. Can you will the wound to open? No? That's a shame. What can you tell me about this wound? Well, it's difficult to say. I know of blades that leave never-healing cuts, of poisons that stop wounds from healing. I've heard of witches' curses that are rewarded with eternal wounds. But wounds that seem to reopen and heal over and over? Perhaps you know of other cases like this? Let's think. In 4671, a Mendevian army corporal had all his bones and cartilage turned to glass. In 4700, a scribe in Canabris had all her skin simply come away like she'd been boiled. And in 4638... Oh, you don't happen to have insects crawling over you? Locusts? No? Rats, perhaps? Too bad. Do you think it's dangerous? It most likely is dangerous, but you are under the protection of Iomade, Commander. She granted you mythic power, as they say. Surely the Inheritor would not leave you to face this alone. Have you perhaps noticed that the wound opens at moments when you waver in your faith? Perhaps it is triggered by doubt. I'm sorry I couldn't tell you anything useful. I will be sure to study this matter and consult a few of my encyclopedias. Tell me about yourself. Oh my, I could tell you so many amazing things, and you choose the most boring one of all. But all right, about myself then. Where are you from? Isgur. A small piece of land that proudly calls itself a country, though it hasn't been independent for a single day in all the centuries it's existed. They have a lot of national pride, but all of it is borrowed, always looking to the great day when they can at last be free from the rule of Cheliax. The Isgari love talking politics. If two of them start bargaining over beats at the market, you can be sure they'll end up arguing about whether an independent Isgur will be a monarchy or a republic. I've always found it funny to listen to, and a little disgusting. You see, there are a lot of us halflings in the country, but very few are citizens. Most are slaves. I was lucky. I've always been clever ever since I was little, so they sent me to school instead of making me do the grunt work. They taught me to count and write, and I was sold as a secretary to Lord Axelar Tresbot. He's the one I left Isgur with. Never to return, I hope. How did you come to serve Queen Galfrey? I was a slave of Lord Axelar Tresbot in Isgur, my homeland. Oh, what a man he was! He towered over his fellows like a rock over a garbage heap. A true hero. He bought me as a simple secretary, but he made me learn the history of the world wound. All of it, one volume after another. He hired tutors for me, even sent me to meet prominent historians. He didn't want a simple slave, but a slave with an impeccable education. Lord Tresbot was going on a crusade. He firmly believed that the servants of the good gods were weak, and only a follower of Asmodeus could stand against the demon invasion. He took me along as a secretary, a historian, and, most importantly, he entrusted me with recording his glorious story for future generations. In his crusade, Lord Tresbot performed many brave feats, but even he could not stand against the world wound alone. In his final battle with the demons, when my lord realized he was doomed, his final act was to cover my retreat, so that I could tell the world of his great deeds. Some people have said that what he did was not heroic, just an arrogant moron puffing himself up one last time, but I say curse their tongues. My difficult journey ended in Mendev, where I found my freedom. There, I published Lord Tresbot's biography, and I don't want to boast, but... who am I kidding? Of course I do. The book sold in great numbers and made me rather famous for a time. That's what brought me to the Queen's attention. She invited me into her court. After all, she was curious about my deceased lord, and she was in great need of an expert on the history of the world wound. I hope you'll find me useful as well. So you're not just a historian, but a writer too. Will you write a book about my crusade? Haha, why not? As soon as we finish off the demons, I'll get right to it. Just take care that you don't end up like Lord Tresbot. Do you worship any deity? When I was a slave in Isgur, they would beat me with a stick and force me into believing in Asmodeus. They hit me and said it was for my own good. Ever since then, I don't like temples. I realize there are different gods, like Desna or Caden, who teach goodness and freedom, but it's just, as soon as I smell frankincense, I see the slave driver's stick. Maybe one day I'll be able to turn to a deity without cringing from a blow for not being reverent enough, but for now I let others pray for me. Nura sounds sincere, but you feel that she's holding something back. You're welcome, but you should ask me about something more interesting. Tell me the history of the world wound. Oh, I could talk about that for hours. What exactly do you want to know? Tell me about old Sarkoris. It was an unforgiving country, inhabited by numerous tribes of Khalid barbarians. Imagine Numeria, but without the Metal Mountains, or the realm of the Mammoth Lords, but with a milder climate. That's Sarkoris. The country was ruled by priests of forgotten deities and shamans. It's said that even back then, before the world wound, the boundary between worlds was especially thin in this region. Since ancient times, Descari has had his claws sunk deep into the minds of the locals. His cults thrived here for many centuries. Aridin tried to stamp them out, but in the end, of course, he passed away. How did the world wound come to be? It happened the year Aridin died, 4606, a little over a century ago. No one knows if the timing was coincidental or if there's some connection with Aridin's death, but I'll tell you what we do know. The priests and shamans who ruled Sarkoris hated arcane magic and all who practiced it. Wizards and sorcerers were driven from the land, or worse. One of their prisons held a witch named Arilu Vorlish. We know nothing about her besides her name, and of course the atrocity she committed. By some unknown method she managed to harness the terrible power of the demon lord Descari. Together they tore open the barrier between worlds, opening a rift to the abyss in the very middle of Sarkoris. The world wound slowly but mercilessly expanded, devouring more and more land. In a matter of years, Sarkoris was but a memory. Sometimes I think, what did they do to Arilu in that prison? Just imagine, she was ready to give herself to the abyss if only the demons might devour her torturers along with her. To imagine such hatred, it terrifies me. Tell me about the First Crusade. It began in 4622. Yes, it took the church and the secular authorities nearly 2 decades and hundreds of thousands of lives before they decided to take action. In the meantime, Sarkoris was only supported by handfuls of volunteers. By the time the crusade began, the demons had already invaded Mendev. The crusaders pushed them back in what must have seemed a total triumph at the time. The forces of good easily crushing the demons on all fronts. They erected Dresden on the lands they conquered, an indestructible fortress and the capital of the Crusader movement. In 4630, 8 years after it began, the First Crusade was declared victorious. It was the first triumph of the Crusaders, and unfortunately, the last. Tell me about the Second Crusade. In 4638, the world wound suddenly started expanding, and a new wave of demons appeared. The Crusaders were all but delighted. Last time they'd routed the forces of the Abyss, and they welcomed another chance to prove themselves. But this time everything was different. Instead of scattered gangs, they faced a large and organized army. Dresden was besieged, and the Crusaders lost all the lands they'd won back before. They had to retreat, and all that remained of Sarkoris was left to the demons. But while the monsters were devouring the unprotected lands, the Crusaders erected a chain of wardstones along the border of the World Wound. We have Iomade and her herald to thank for their help. It was the Second Crusade's only victory, but it halted the wound's growth. The catastrophe had become a stalemate at the cost of tremendous sacrifice. Tell me about the Third Crusade. About 50 years after the opening of the World Wound, Descari found an ally. Baphomet entered the war, a cunning, insidious demon lord who prefers deception to open conquest. He sets his enemies against each other and lures the virtuous onto the path of wickedness. Traitors appeared among the Crusaders, secret agents of his cult. For a time, no one suspected a thing, even as they watched helplessly as the Crusader movement fell to ruin. Where once valor proudly stood, now greed and dumb cruelty reigned, and outrage was drowned in apathy. In 4665, the Church announced a new crusade hoping to boost morale. They didn't succeed, to put it mildly. Some fought the demons in earnest, and for a time they even dared hope to retake Dresden. But the Third Crusade would be remembered as a witch hunt in every sense. Inquisitors hoped to purge any cultists from the ranks of fighters, but instead they got a barrage of denunciations, widespread suspicion, and innocent victims. It sometimes happened that two orders would denounce each other as traitors and wipe each other out, much to the demons' delight. Just 3 years later, in 4668, the Church put the disgrace to an end. Of all the Crusades, that one was the least glorious. Tell me about the Fourth Crusade. Of course, the demons had no intention of sitting quietly caged behind the wardstones. They kept attacking Canabres, trying to reach the stone and destroy it, or just scratch its surface. Or if even that wasn't possible, befoul it. The Crusaders drove the demons away from the city again and again. The Fourth Crusade would last for 15 years, an exhausting study in positional warfare. The demons attacked and they were pushed back. The Crusaders went on the offensive but were forced to retreat, and all the while the losses were tremendous. The Fourth Crusade's only achievement was that they didn't let a single wardstone fall. They didn't retake a sliver of land, to say nothing of Dresden. So many lives just to maintain the stalemate. You can imagine how that affected morale. Thank you for your answers. My pleasure. You just have to remember to stop me or I'll go on about it forever. I have to go. If you have any questions, come back. Let's see. I think there's one more thing. For me to do here. Commander, let me personally congratulate you on your new title and thank you for your time in advance. I am Leodor Hawkblade, an Inquisitor of the Church of Iomade, the Bringer of Light. I require your assistance in a certain delicate matter involving one of your companions, young Count Dayron Arende. What brings you here? I ask you to assist the Church of Iomade in an investigation of the utmost importance. I understand that the leader of the Crusade has plenty of other matters to attend to, but please allow me to tell you the details. Perhaps it will explain why I am calling upon you. I suppose that you have already heard about Count Arende's story. I refer to the tragedy at the Heaven's Edge estate. You're going to investigate this old case again, aren't you? Yes, I am. I have several reasons to doubt the widely shared account of what exactly happened at the estate and how it happened. You see, Commander, I was among those sent to examine the estate after the incident. I saw everything with my own 2 eyes, and I still remember it clearly, even though it feels like it happened a lifetime ago. Heaven's Edge was a unique place that still carried the spirit of old Mendev before the World Wound, and yet on that day it turned into a labyrinthine house of horrors, like something only seen in our nightmares. Apologies for the digression. I wanted to tell you about my suspicions. Everything about the incident seemed odd. Why was the only person left alive a young boy with a newfound talent for divine magic? Why did nobody send to Canabras for help, even though the agony spanned many hours? We found the demons dead, with their heads cut off, when we got into the estate. How were they defeated? How did the disease kill even the paladins present at the estate, who are said to be immune to any disease? If the demons had found a way to penetrate the Holy Warrior's defenses, why has this never been repeated since the tragedy at Heaven's Edge? You are the only person who can help me here, Commander, because the only living witness of those events is currently serving in your army. Your army's route will take you near the very site of the tragedy. Heaven's Edge has been abandoned and sealed with potent magic throughout all these years, and only the Count has the power to break that seal. He is unlikely to invite an Inquisitor inside, and in any case he won't like me sniffing around his family seat. But if you, as his commander, express your wish to visit the estate, he will be obliged to fulfill it, and I will simply follow you as one of your attendants. There are 100 ways, 1,000 paths, and myriad loopholes in human lives that the forces of evil can use to their advantage. I am not sure which one of those led the demons to the gates of Heaven's Edge, but I do know it wasn't a simple raid, the kind Crusaders face every day. That incident involved a significantly more powerful entity, and that is why I am asking for your help. We cannot be sure that such a tragedy will not happen again until we uncover the truth. You've already been to the estate several times. What do you expect to find now? I was a young and inexperienced Inquisitor when I first visited Heaven's Edge 10 years ago. My skills have improved significantly since then, and I have paid dearly for that. My arsenal includes many spells and techniques dedicated to gathering information about people and events. Almost all of them require me to be physically present in the place where the event in question happened. That is why I must return to Heaven's Edge. Did you question Daron himself? I did, but the Count insisted he couldn't remember anything about the incident due to severe shock. He saw the demons at the very beginning when they appeared at the celebration to announce the onset of the plague and mock their victims. He also witnessed the death of his mother, Countess Selena. That was all he would tell me. We had found the young Count sleeping like a log on the floor in one of the rear chambers, having drunk about half the family wine cellar all by himself. There is no reason to disbelieve him on that matter. So you suspect Daron is hiding something, that he is to blame for the tragedy. I deliberately refuse to entertain any theories or suspicions so that it doesn't affect the investigation. There is a saying among my colleagues that suspicion is the mother of prejudice, and prejudice is married to failure. I can only tell you that Count Arenday wasn't suffering from demonic possession, the most common malaise in our country at the time. Tulrun himself examined the boy right after the tragedy, and he didn't sense anything awry with him. Fine, I will help you. What do you need me to do? Thank you, Commander. Now I ask you to speak to the Count and tell him that you wish to see Heaven's Edge. Please do not inform him of my presence right away. I will join your escort when it's time to travel to the estate. When we get there, I will also require your help during the investigation. You will have to follow me, observing my actions as an independent witness. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask me. I will remain here for a while. Tell me more about yourself, Inquisitor. I want to know who I'm dealing with. I am Ulfin by birth, but I have lived in Mendev for most of my life, dedicating myself to the service of the Inheritor. My warrior brethren mostly worship Gorum, but I've never been eager to fight for the sake of battle alone. I was a good fighter in my early youth and could easily best most of my peers, but I didn't enjoy showing off my skills. Victory is bland on its own. Purpose adds flavor to war. I can't say that I have always been a faithful sword of Iomedae. Back in my mercenary days, fate brought me to the borders of Mendev, where I spent quite a long time among the Crusaders. Fighting shoulder to shoulder with my righteous comrades in arms and watching demons commit their atrocities eventually led me to something I had been seeking my whole life: purpose and faith. That is how I found my calling. Even though it may be hard at times, I've never regretted my decision. Are you one of Prelate Hulrun's followers? Yes, of course. What is your opinion on his atrocities? Usually, people reveal such things about themselves only to their confessor, not to some curious stranger. Still, I did ask for your help, and that imposes certain obligations upon me. Let me put it like this. I spent enough years by Prelate Hulrun's side to learn how to keep him from going over the line. The prelate is an extraordinary man, but he has fallen prey to his own paranoia and monumental sense of responsibility, which has gradually eroded his razor-sharp mind. He has witnessed so much hideous darkness that he now sees it in every shadow. Yet his strength was, and still is, a shield for all the people of Mendev. That is my opinion. His comrades and advisors are necessary to prevent him from making unforgivable mistakes. I have to go. I'd love to visit Heaven's Edge and see the Arendelle estate someday. Oh, I was just about to mention it myself. I've been thinking, now that I'm in the middle of this whole crusade nonsense, I simply must devise new ways to have fun. With all the recent commotion, my birthday completely slipped my mind. What if we were to celebrate it at Heaven's Edge? It's not far from here, and you'll get to enjoy a banquet in a bona fide haunted house. Since you're my superior, and I'm your advisor, I'm obliged to ask your permission to leave for the festivities. And I want to invite you too. I'm sure the commander can free up an afternoon while the soldiers are on leave. Alright, deal. Perfect, you'll have a ball. I'll make sure of it. Anything more to say to Leoder? I talked to Darren about the estate. He's going to celebrate his birthday at Heaven's Edge, so we can go there as guests. A celebration? That is far from ideal. It will be rather inconvenient for me to conduct the investigation with all the guests around. Thank you nonetheless, Commander. When you decide to go to the estate, I will join you. Alright. Pretty sure that's everything I needed to do here. So, this is probably a good place to stop for now. So, thanks everybody for watching. I will see you all some other time.